Hey folks, how y'all doing today? Mr. Mose of Guns and Moses here, coming to you from my Black Diamond Den studio. How are things? I hope they're well. I wanted to know today, how many of you all wanted to just buy a camera for whatever reason, whether it be to take care of pictures of family, friends, do weddings, pictures of your cat, whatever reason you wanted to go out and buy a camera. Well, let me talk to you a little bit about that. I started shooting pictures many years ago. The first camera that I got was one of those little square cardboard boxes, and you shoot, roll, shoot, roll, shoot, roll. Take it in. They take the film out and throw the box away. That's what they called a camera back then. That piqued my interest, and I decided I wanted to get a real camera. So I remember saving up a few bucks and going out and buying Minolta's G7. I bought that because it's the first camera that the lady bought to me and said, "This is a nice camera," and I knew nothing about cameras, so I bought it. Pictures were lousy. I couldn't do anything right. It was months and months of trial and error till I started to get my first pictures out. And I got good at it, or so I thought. So I decided, I'm this far. Let me go take a class and see how I fare with the rest of the class. The class showed me that I didn't really know what I was doing, but I did learn in that class, and it further piqued my interest. Had that camera for a few years. Ended up buying a Pentax ME Super. This camera was a modern marvel at the time, and I learned a whole lot of things from that camera. This camera also forced me to take some more classes. If you're going to buy a camera and you really want to get good at it, take some classes and get familiar with that camera, and learn what an aperture is and a shutter is and what ISO is. Learn those things, and you'll be surprised what you can do with a camera. I had that camera for some years, and I settled in on a Canon EOS 650. This was my dream camera here. This was the modern of the three, and it taught me that I could get better, and I did get better with that camera. I still have that camera. This is my Canon EOS 650. I'm going to keep this one. The other two, the matter of fact, the Minolta's G7, I was on in ads and whatnot, and I found a guy. I guess he's a collector. He was looking for a Minolta's G7. So I offered to sell it to him, and he said, "I'll buy it for this much." I did backward handsprings to his place and sold him the camera. That helped me get my new camera. My Pentax ME Super, I sold that, and that was probably going to pay for some cards or grip. But I ended up selling both of those. This one here, my pride and joy, it still is one of the last cameras. It was the last camera that I used that used film. People, there are kids out there today that will say, "What is film?" With the modern day cards and digital accessories and all of that stuff. You could give them this camera and they wouldn't have an idea what to do with it, etc., etc. But like I said, this is my pride and joy, and I love this camera. But there was a time, it became time for me to move on. So I did. I went out and did a couple months worth of research and line reading and book reading, and I needed to come up with a camera that I liked, that I thought that would work well for me, and so that's why I did all of that. I tried out four or five cameras. and I ended up renting two. But I tried that Sony A7 Mark III, I think it is. Beautiful camera, man. I love that camera. That thing was really nice. The only setback on that camera was the monitor. The monitors on those kind of tip upward or tip back at you or tip out, or they don't turn. I forget what the term is when they flip around and you can look at yourself if you're doing like selfie. They'll turn up, but then half of the lens is behind the camera, kind of, or part of the lens is behind the camera, and I didn't really like that. I wanted something like a video camera that I have, where the monitor flips and then swings out. That's what I wanted in a camera. So that camera was out. I tried I rented an Olympus OMD E Mark II, I think it was. I think that's the camera that I rented. Another beautiful camera. Between that camera and I think it's the Panasonic S1, I've seen cars sold for cheaper than those cameras. No wonder they was beautiful. They cost as much as a damn car, and I couldn't imagine. I couldn't justify closely to buying one of those unless I get into some major photography stuff and I can afford it. But they were expensive, but they were nice. They do everything that you want them to do, etc., etc., etc. I wanted a camera with 2 card slots. I didn't want to be having to run out of space, so I wanted one. Now, one card, you get one card with 8 million gigs on there, and it'll last you forever. But if you can do that, why not get 2 cards that hold 8 million gigs? Well, that was my thoughts, to have and not need, rather than to need and not have. So that was one of my buying points. Since I had the Canon, I decided to look at it. There's an EOS on the market now, and I thought maybe I'll try that one out, and it just didn't do it for me. I mean, it was many years post-seeding my old Canon, but it didn't do anything for me. At the Olympus, I think I read somewhere where they're going out of the camera business, so I didn't want to mess around with that. So I moved on, ended up with Panasonic. The first camera I looked at was the Panasonic S1. Another camera that's going to cost you as much as a car, or you can get a car for that amount easy. And you can get a decent car for that same price. And no, I couldn't justify that. So the next camera I looked at, Canon G9. Now I've been reading about the GH5 and the GH5S and the G85 and so on. So the whole camera line. For some reason, I got stuck on Panasonic, and I went through the whole line reading about them, etc., etc. And so I ended up bypassing the newer cameras and going back to the G9. And I think that I'm glad that I did. Here's my G9. Oh, G9. Oh, you beautiful camera. This is a nice camera. This camera here had everything I wanted, including the 2 card slots. There's 2 card slots there. I got 2 big cards in there. I'm not even thinking about buying a card again. The difference between now and then is that you had to buy. You can take 50 pictures, but then you had to tear that apart and develop them, and then buy more film. These here, I've shot 700 pictures on this in 2 days, and I just part of the learning process, nothing more, nothing less. And it didn't even touch the damn battery or the camera. And I paired this with a grip, and the grip basically is another spot to put another battery, but it also has the same controls on it that the camera has. So if you're shooting, you can shoot like this, or you can shoot like this and hold on to the grip and work the same mechanism. So I think that was a nice accessory to have, so I bought that. I also paired this up with a 42.5 Leica Lumix lens, Leica Summilux 42.5 lens. I think I'm gonna do that, use that for my portraiture and such. But I've been kind of studying on that and reading up on that, and you know, there's a lot more that you can do with that lens than just portraiture. Of course, you can do portraiture with anything, but that's a nice lens. I want to get a 25 millimeter or 17 for super wide angle, but we'll see when that comes. I also have a 45 to 150 Panasonic lens. If you're familiar with this, well, I know most of you are familiar with this. For you newbies, this is a 90 to 300 millimeter equivalent to a full frame. And I also have my 12 to 60. This is a 24 to 120 zoom. Great lenses. I love this. I love the Leica glass. It's just amazing. Awesomely amazing. For you rookies and newbies who don't know what a camera looks like, there it is with a 12 to 60. Oh, I love this camera. This thing has done a whole lot of things for me. And just I've had it about 2 months now, and I shoot with it almost every day, whether it be for 2 minutes or let me show you a couple of first shots that I've taken. Here I am. I was out to the park, Minnehaha Park, and decided to take a shot of the falls. A couple shots. I thought I did pretty good with these. You know, I got water droplets and spray, and I really like how that turned out. And I use this particular one for a live screensaver that I have going, and it's pretty cool. Here you have a picture of this is downtown Minneapolis at midnight. I wanted to see what the lights look like, or night shooting photography, how the lights took to this particular camera. This shot took me about 3 shots, and a third shot, this is the third shot, and I said, man, I like that, that's beautiful. So this is one I want to have put on glass, and you know, have a picture in the house and whatnot. Here's a picture of this is at a motorcycle rally. Look at the colors in this damn thing. This is just, man, I like this camera. This just makes me feel good just to know that I have it. Sometimes I come home from work, and you know, some people think, oh, I'm finally home to get in bed. Well, I'm finally home, I can pick up my camera. But that's the camera that I chose, and you should probably go out and take a look at it. If you're gonna go buy a camera, do your research, do your comparisons, find something that interests you. If you like it, buy it. If you don't, buy it anyway. You'll come to like it. It'll force you to like it. With that, I'm gonna have to say, we out. Have a good day. Buy a camera. Shoot lots of pictures. See ya.